Berlin. November 1916. The air inside your home feels colder than it should be. You are a mother of three. Outside, the city still moves, but slowly, as if everything is tired. Your government once promised the war would end by Christmas. That Christmas has already passed. Now another winter is beginning. And nothing feels temporary anymore. Food no longer arrives the way it used to. At first, it was small things. Slight delays. Smaller deliveries. Longer queues outside bakeries in the early morning fog. People standing silently, holding bags they hope will be filled. Then it becomes more serious. The harvest fails. Not because the land is empty, but because protection systems are gone. Copper is taken for war production. Without it, fungicide disappears. Without fungicide, disease spreads quietly across fields. And the crops collapse before anyone can stop it. Inside your kitchen, there is a ration card. You hold it more often now. Not because it helps, but because it reminds you what is missing. It allows only a fraction of what your children need. Not enough for energy. Not enough for growth. Not enough for normal life. So you adapt. Turnips become the center of every meal. You boil them slowly. Mash them carefully. Bake them into something that tries to resemble bread. The smell fills the room, but it does not feel like food anymore. It feels like survival disguised as routine. The children eat quietly. They do not complain. Not because they understand sacrifice, but because they trust you will find a way. And trust, in moments like this, becomes heavier than explanation. Across the city, the same rhythm repeats. Homes adjusting silently. Portions shrinking without announcement. People learning to accept less before they fully understand why. No single moment marks the change. It happens gradually. Like something fading instead of breaking. And that is what makes it difficult to recognize while it is happening. Only later does history give it a name. The Turnip Winter. By the time it ends, hundreds of thousands of civilians will have died. Not in battle. Not in headlines. But in kitchens like this one. Leningrad, 1941. The silence inside the city feels different now. Not peaceful. Strained. As if even the air is conserving energy. A man sits inside a freezing apartment. His name is Mikhail. A schoolteacher. Once, his days were structured by lessons, books, and routine. Now time is measured differently. By bread. By heat. By how long the body can last before it weakens again. The radiator beside him is cold. It stopped working long ago. At first, he tried to repair it. Then he stopped. Because effort does not always equal outcome anymore. Outside, the city is sealed. No trains arriving. No supplies entering. No sense of normal connection to the outside world. And slowly, life begins to shrink inward. People break furniture into smaller pieces. Not all at once. One chair today. A table leg tomorrow. Everything becomes potential warmth. Wallpaper is stripped carefully from walls. Because even glue becomes memory of food. Inside this city, nothing is wasted anymore. Not because of discipline, but because there is nothing left to waste. Mikhail writes in a journal. Not for readers. Not for history. But to keep himself anchored to time. To remind himself that days still exist. Even when they feel identical. Outside, the winter grows heavier. Not just in temperature, but in silence. And in the absence of movement. Beirut, 2020. The explosion does not feel real at first. Even from far away, people describe it as something that doesn't belong to normal experience. A flash. A shock. Then a silence that feels wrong. At the port, a grain storage facility is destroyed. A structure most people never thought about before. Until it disappears. At first, life continues as if recovery will be fast. People assume systems will adjust. They always have before. But this time, something shifts more slowly. Prices begin to rise. Not everywhere at once, but enough to notice in daily life. One receipt feels slightly heavier than the last. Then another. Then it becomes a pattern. Wages stay the same, but what they can buy begins to shrink. And slowly, families start adjusting without naming it. Smaller grocery bags. Simpler meals. Longer gaps between purchases. Not as planning, but as response. The shelves are still there. The products are still there. But access becomes uneven. And that difference changes everything. Because survival is not only about availability. It is about reach. And when reach changes, even abundance stops feeling stable. And across all of these places, one thing remains consistent. The system does not break in a single moment. It changes in layers. Energy becomes unstable. Agriculture weakens. Transport slows. Distribution becomes inconsistent. And prices rise faster than people can adapt. Each step feels small on its own. But together, they reshape daily life completely. And most people do not recognize it while it is happening. Only afterward. When the change has already settled. And that is why history repeats this pattern. Not because people ignore it, but because it rarely announces itself clearly. It arrives quietly. Through ordinary days that slowly stop feeling ordinary. And by the time it is obvious, the adjustment has already begun. Let's end today's video here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this historical video, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. Your support means everything, so please, take a moment to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until we meet again in the next video. Take care and goodbye.